Hello, welcome. My name is Kimberly, and I am the owner here at Sedona Horse Medicine. I am a trauma informed equine assisted integration coach, and this is a subject that for the 15 years that I've been doing this, I have just seen come up again and again, and that's the split of the psyche of the woman, the virgin and the whore, or the Madonna whore complex. And I hope that you'll take this journey with me over this series. I have 10 shows planned out. And so tonight in episode one, I'm just going to kind of go over Freud, his way of describing it, and then Jung. I run more in the Jungian side of things, working with archetypes. Um, I believe that we all have a bloodline and we all have epigenetic trauma. And on today's stage, I would say that we are on a very traumatized planet and that there is a serious issue between men and women. And I believe that this split is at the core of that issue. And really, everywhere we look, the feminine has been divided. One side's exalted, um, that virgin, the pure, untouched, and the holy, and the other side banished, the whore or the terrible mother, sexual, devouring, and feared. And this split is not new. It's been carried on for centuries. It's lived in myths and religions and families, and it's hid in places of the human psyche. But the truth is, the virgin and the whore are not two separate beings. They are faces of one great archetype, and it's distorted through division. So, this series, that's what I want to accomplish is us walking straight through into the split, and we'll look at how Freud named it and how Jung reframed it and how myth and story have repeated it and how it still lives and breathes in our culture today. So, this first episode is about naming the veil, seeing the fracture clearly so that we can understand what we're working with. Um, so, at the beginning of the 20th century, Freud described something he saw again and again in his patients. He noticed that many men could not unite love and desire. So, they adored one woman, often their wife, but felt no passion for her. They desired another, often the mistress or the prostitute, but they could not respect her. So Freud gave this name the Madonna whore complex. And he wrote, "Where they love, they do not desire, and where they desire, they cannot love." So, in Freud's view, this comes from childhood. A boy's early love for his mother collided with taboo against incest, and the psyche responded by dividing women into two categories: the mother, the sacred, the pure, to be respected and desired, and the whore, sexually degraded, but to be desired but never loved. And you can see this complex echoing in today. We see it in the way people speak about good girl versus bad girls, and in purity culture, in double standards around sexuality. So it's a pretty old tale that's still shaping modern life. And I would say that, and we'll dive deeper into this in the next shows, but when we're looking at porn and OnlyFans and a very hyper sexualized culture and how that is starting younger and younger and younger. And I suppose, the internet has a big part in that. Especially kids have a phone in their hands so young, and this sort of material is so easily accessible. So Jung took the same wound, but he saw it through the lens of archetypes. And from him, this wasn't just a pathology, it was a mythic pattern playing itself out in the psyche. So he described it as the virgin or the core, Kore, as untouched potential, innocence, and the beginning of the soul's journey. So she's Persephone before the underworld and the maiden not initiated yet into life. On the other pole, young named the terrible mother, or what culture often calls the whore. She is the seductress, the witch, the prostitute, the devouring feminine that consumes. And she is not evil, and she is the face of Eros, the raw life force that creates, destroys, and transforms. Both the virgin and the whore are aspects of the great mother archetype and destruction, light and shadow. So the danger comes when the psyche splits them apart and the virgin is inflated into the impossible standards of purity, while the whore casts out shadow and she's feared and demonized. So Jung's insight was that the wholeness requires integration. The virgin must descend, the whore must be seen as sacred. Both must be brought back into the circle of self. And I see this, I've been doing this work for 15 years, and I see this in almost all of my clients on some level. Repressed sexuality, shame, guilt, and this is where the work I do really helps to integrate the shadow aspect, both sides, so that we have a then a divine union with self. And because when this archetype is split or divided, it doesn't just cost the woman dearly, it costs society dearly, men dearly. And for men, love and desire, uh, they remain severed. Intimacy feels safe, but passion fades, or passion burns hot, but can't be sustained with respect. And for women, the pressure is pretty relentless to be pure but not frigid, to be sensual but not too much, to be desirable but not dangerous, always torn between categories that were never meant to exist. And for culture, the cost is disconnection. We lose sight of the wholeness of the feminine. We idolize one fragment and demonize the other. And we forget that innocence and eros, purity and passion, they're meant to belong together. I think that that's a very important thing to look at. Um, I just see it playing out on the world stage. I see it in my clients, and I really, yeah, I want to explore this topic. And I'll be providing some workbooks, um, and or a PDF that I'll post probably after the next show. This one, I just wanted to get a show out tonight. I said that I would, and it's been on my list of things to do. So even if it's just a short show, I actually just wanted to check it off my list tonight because the best way to start, just start. And I have been making, I think, far too many excuses to not just get started. So that's the overview of this series. It'll be 10 shows. And um, I guess in closing, like I said, this will just be a quick one, but in closing, um, Freud named this as a neurosis, and Jung revealed it as an archetype. But both point to the same truth that the feminine has been split, both in world and in soul. And this is the veil that we're beginning to lift. People are people are doing more and more self-help. They're exploring the subconscious. They're exploring, um, and I wouldn't say that everybody. I wish more people would, because I think that these are the wounds that are really at the heart of it, war throughout the history of this planet. and that this split um, all stems from war. And to get back into or to heal this wound is to go deep into the psyche and bring it forward, bring our bloodline, our epigenetic trauma forward, and really look at these issues on a much deeper level. And so, in the next episodes, I'm going to dive deeper into the Madonna whore complex and explore how it's shaped relationships and how it still echoes in modern intimacy and why the split between love and desire is so difficult to heal. Um, and when you have generations after generation that is never really recovering, just passing on trauma, um, I think you have what we see today with OnlyFans and um, even just the way that you see it play out, the hypersexualization on the planet and girls younger and younger. What's the statistic I read the other day? Girls from 18 to 25. The percentage was just off the charts of how many um, women are young girls, young women, and it's all ages, uh, are now, it just seems to be normalized, but yet still demonized. And I just, from my own personal experience, um, very few of the women that I know knew from back in LA that I knew that were in the sex industry are even alive. So um, it becomes a survival. I think it's survival. I don't think it's something that none of the girls I knew when they were little were like, you know what, I want to be a prostitute or I want to be an escort. Um, and a lot of the women that I knew that got into modeling ended up escorting. So it's something that I'm very much into discussing. And I will be having workbooks and or a PDF that has a workbook on really the process of integration and really exploring these archetypes. And so I hope that that will be a good resource for anybody that sees this that's wanting to um, heal the division, um, the repressed sexual energy, to heal that virgin whore, to integrate that, because that is what's necessary for a divine union of self. And I'm very yeah, I'm excited about doing this series. This is the third time I've tried to do this tonight, so I'm just a little tired, and the computer stuff didn't really go as effortlessly as I would have liked, but I would like to just leave with this, that the virgin and the whore are not enemies, and they are two faces of a whole that was never meant to be divided. And when we as women come together within ourselves, a whole new world opens up, a whole new way of being opens up. And all those repressed sexual energies, the shame, the guilt, the repression, um, yeah, we heal that. We go in and do the inner child work and really look at where that split started for us. And I will say that over the 15 years that I've been doing this, I don't think that I've ever worked with a woman that hasn't had this wound. And depending on, and it's not to say that every woman, but for the most part, this is the core wound. It is the splitting of the psyche. So, um, I'm going to leave that there because, like I said, this is maybe even the fourth time I did this tonight. And I just made a promise to myself that I would get a show done today. And so I did that. And like I always tell my clients, that when you make a promise to yourself and you keep it, you gain confidence and courage, and you're on the healing path. And the more that you do that, the more confidence and courage you gain. So, on that note, thank you for joining me, and I will be back tomorrow for show two. And I'm going to explore, like I said, yeah, over 10 shows. We're going to explore this subject. So, thank you. And tomorrow I will have a full show ready. Okay. Good night.